Thought balloon imagine for a moment. Every morning you wake up, you have your coffee, you get ready for your day, and without even realizing it, you let a few coins, a few bills slip away. As if you opened the window and threw your money outside, watching the wind carry it away. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Yet this is exactly what happens to millions of people, every day all over the world. They work hard, they chase their paycheck, and in the blink of an eye, it all disappears, swallowed up by invisible expenses, expensive habits, or simply by lack of strategy. And you? Have you ever wondered how many euros, francs, or dollars you lose without even noticing? Maybe you think you're managing well, maybe you think it's okay, but the truth is that most people waste a huge portion of their income. Not out of luxury, not out of choice, but out of ignorance. What if you too were losing your money without even realizing it? The good news is that it's not too late to change. There are simple rules accessible to everyone that will help keep your money where it belongs. In your pocket, in your account, and above all, serving your projects. Today we're going to discover together the 10 powerful rules that can transform the way you manage your money. You don't need to be a financial expert or have a huge salary. These rules apply to everyone, and best of all, they work. So stick around until the end, because what you're about to hear could literally change your financial future. Light bulb rule number 1. Always know where your money is going. The first rule is perhaps the most important of all. Know exactly where your money is going. Because if you don't know where it's going, how can you stop it from running away? Many people work hard, collect their paycheck, pay 2 or 3 bills, and then find themselves at the end of the month wondering, but where did all my money go? The truth is, money evaporates into small, everyday expenses that we don't even notice. A takeaway coffee in the morning, a quick snack at lunchtime, an online subscription that you no longer use, but which continues to be debited every month. And when you add it all up, you realize that hundreds of euros are disappearing without you really enjoying it. Let's take a simple example. Imagine that you spend only 5 euros a day on coffee or small snacks. That seems like nothing, right? But over a month, that's about 150 euros. And over a year, you get to over 1,800 euros. In other words, with just this little habit, you could pay for a nice trip, invest in training, or even move forward on a project that's close to your heart. The human brain tends to minimize small expenses. We say to ourselves, it's only a few euros, it's not a big deal. But when added up, these small amounts become a real financial hemorrhage. It's like a leaky bucket. A drop is nothing, but if it leaks continuously, after a while your bucket is empty. So what to do? It is absolutely necessary set up monitoring. It doesn't matter what tool you use. A paper notebook where you record every expense, a free app on your phone, or even a simple Excel spreadsheet. The key is to have a clear vision, because as soon as you see the numbers in front of you, you become aware of the reality. You realize that it's not the big bills that ruin you most often, but all those small, invisible expenses. Remember this: you can't improve what you don't measure, and in managing your money, the first victory is lucidity. Bar chart rule number 2, set a clear budget. The second rule to stop losing your money is have a clear budget. Because without a budget, you're navigating in the fog. You spend on instinct, you try to make it to the end of the month, and often you find yourself overdrawn or with the feeling of having wasted. A budget is like a map. It shows you where you're going and keeps you from going around in circles. A simple and effective method that you can apply today is the 50/30/20 rule. It consists of dividing your income into 3 categories. 50% for essential needs: rent, food, bills, transportation. Everything you absolutely need to live. 30% for your desires and pleasures: outings, travel, leisure, shopping. Yes, it is important to enjoy them, but in a supervised manner. 20% for savings and projects. Money set aside for your future, your emergency fund, or even your investments. Let's take a concrete example. Let's imagine that you win euro 1,000 per month. 500 euros would be reserved for your essential expenses. 300 euros to treat yourself without guilt. 200 euros directly put aside to build your future. With this method, you maintain balance. You live well in the present while preparing for your future. And above all, you no longer live under the illusion that all your money is available. Because the reality is that a large portion of your income must have a specific mission from the start. Without a budget, money slips through your fingers like sand. You spend without realizing it, and you have no idea where it went. But with a clear budget, every euro has a purpose. You become the master of your money instead of being its slave. Remember, money loves order, and if you give it structure, it will serve you instead of controlling you. Stop sign rule number 3. Avoid impulse purchases. Who hasn't experienced this scene? You walk into a store or open your shopping app just to look. And then you come across something that catches your eye, a pair of the latest sneakers, a shiny watch, a trendy gadget. You didn't need it 2 minutes before, but suddenly your brain says, I absolutely have to have it. You check out, you're all excited, you go home, and a few days later the object is already sleeping in a corner, forgotten, and you realize that you just wasted your money. That's it, impulse buying. It doesn't arise from your need, but from your emotion of the moment. And if you want to stop wasting your money, you must learn to avoid this trap. A simple and powerful trick is the 24-hour rule, or even 30 days for larger purchases. The principle is clear. As soon as you feel this sudden urge to buy something, you wait. You note the item somewhere, you let a day or a month pass. If after this period you still really need it and it fits your budget, then you can buy it. But in the majority of cases, the urge disappears on its own, and you realize that it was only a passing impulse. Why is it so hard to resist? Because behind every impulse purchase, there's a chemical reaction in your brain. Dopamine, it's the pleasure and reward hormone. It explodes when you click add to cart or check out. Brands and advertisements know this mechanism by heart, and they use it to encourage you to buy right away. Limited promotions, flash sales, last item available. Everything is designed to trigger your impulse and short-circuit your thinking. But remember this, every impulse purchase is a marketing victory over you, and a defeat for your wallet. By taking back control, by giving yourself this time to think, you go from a manipulated consumer to a consumer in control of their choices. Magnifying glass tilted left. Rule number 4. Compare before you buy. A common mistake that wastes a lot of money is buying without comparing. You see a product, you like it, you pay, and that's it. Yet, in today's world, especially with the internet, there is almost always a cheaper alternative or a better deal, sometimes for exactly the same product. Let's take a concrete example. You want to buy a new phone. In the first store, it's listed at €800. You might immediately fall for it. But if you take just 10 minutes to compare, you might discover that online, on another site, the same model is sold for €650. And better yet, maybe with a promo code or a cashback offer, you could save another €30 or €40. The result? Without any additional effort, you've kept €150 to €200 in your pocket. And this principle doesn't just apply to big purchases like electronics. Even for plane tickets, hotels, clothing, or even groceries, the difference can be enormous. Prices vary depending on the location, the platform, and even the time of day. Retailers know that many customers are buying in a hurry, and they're taking advantage of it. Fortunately, there are many available today practical tools that make comparison shopping quick and easy. Price comparison sites let you instantly see where to find the best price for your product. Browser extensions can automatically search for valid promo codes at checkout. And with cashback platforms, a portion of your spending comes back to you right after your purchase. In reality, comparing before you buy is a habit you should get into, like fastening your seatbelt in the car. At first, it may seem like an extra step, but you'll soon realize that it saves you hundreds of dollars each year. Remember this, there is no glory in paying more for the same thing. Smart people don't spend less because they are stingy, but because they know how to look better. Money with wings. Rule number 5. Eliminate small money leaks. If you really want to stop wasting your money, you have to start bilocate and cut off small leaks which, combined, cost you a fortune each year. These are often invisible, repetitive expenses that we no longer pay attention to. Forgotten subscriptions are a typical example. Netflix, Spotify, gym, paid apps, online services. How many have you activated that you don't even use anymore? It's not always intentional. Often we subscribe one day to test it out, forget to unsubscribe, and the charges continue month after month without you realizing it. Even €10 or €15 per month may seem insignificant, but over 12 months, that adds up to €120 to €180 per subscription. Bank fees are another common source of money leakage. Some accounts charge invisible fees, card fees, overdraft fees, transfer fees. We get so used to them that we end up taking them for granted. But added up over the course of a year, these fees can easily amount to several €100. To illustrate the concrete impact of these small leaks, let's take the example of Julie, a young professional. She realizes she has 3 subscriptions she no longer uses: a meditation app costing €10 per month, a streaming service costing €15, and an online sports platform costing €5. Total, €30 per month. By canceling them, she recovers €360 per year, simply by identifying and cutting out what was unnecessary. And this without touching one's essential needs or pleasures. Lesson learned: every euro wasted on unnecessary subscriptions or fees is a euro that isn't working for you. Start by listing all your subscriptions, check your bank statement, and ask yourself for each expense, do I really need this? If the answer is no, cut it immediately. These small adjustments may seem small, but when added together, they create a snowball effect on your savings and bring you closer to financial independence. The key is vigilance. Watch your money and it will work for you instead of disappearing. Shopping bags rule number 6. Buy based on value, not price. A common mistake that wastes money is to only look for the lowest price, without thinking about the true value of the product. Buying cheap doesn't necessarily mean getting a good deal. In fact, it can cost you a lot more in the long run. Let's take a simple, concrete example. Imagine you want to buy shoes. You find a pair for €30 that seems decent, and you say to yourself, great, I got a deal. But after 6 months, the sole wears out, the leather cracks, and you have to buy another pair. Result: in 1 year you have spent €60 for 2 pairs which do not last. Now imagine you invest €80 in a quality, well-designed pair that can last 3 years or older. Sure, the initial purchase is more expensive, but in the long run, you spend less and benefit from a product that lasts over time. Plus, you gain comfort and style and reduce the stress of repeat purchases. The philosophy here is simple. Spend less, but better. It's about looking beyond the immediate price and considering the durability, effectiveness, and real usefulness of what you're buying. This approach allows you to make your money work for you, rather than seeing it disappear on cheap but fleeting purchases. Applying this rule requires a change of perspective. Stop measuring spending per euro paid, and start measuring per the real price/quality ratio and the duration of use. It may seem subtle, but it's one of the habits that makes the difference between someone who wastes and someone who makes their money grow every day. Remember, value is what you get out of it over the long term. And every time you buy with value in mind rather than price, you turn your spending into smart investments, and your money finally starts working for you. Shield rule number 7. Build an emergency fund. If you really want to stop wasting your money and protect your peace of mind, an emergency fund is essential. It's the financial armor that protects you from life's unexpected events. Without it, a simple breakdown, a health problem, or an unexpected expense can push you into debt, often at exorbitant rates. Let's take a concrete example. Imagine your car suddenly breaks down. The garage asks you for €500 for the repair. If you don't have any savings, you have no choice. You borrow, you use your credit card, or you take out a consumer loan. The result? Instead of spending €500, you end up having to pay back €600, €700 or more because of the interest. And all this simply because you hadn't prepared a small financial cushion. The good news is that start small enough. Even €10 a week can make a huge difference in the long run. If you put €10 each week into a separate account, by the end of the year you'll have €520 in reserve. And over the months and years, this fund will grow naturally, giving you security and freedom. The secret is regularity. It doesn't matter how small the amount is, the important thing is to put it aside systematically, before spending on anything else. You can automate the process, an automatic transfer every week or month to a dedicated savings account. This way you never touch this fund for regular expenses, and it remains ready for emergencies only. Having an emergency fund is like having a life jacket. You never know when the storm will hit, but when it does, you're prepared. And most importantly, you avoid falling into the trap of expensive loans, which are one of the main causes of money loss and financial stress. Remember, every little helps, and every euro put aside for your emergency fund is a step towards financial security and freedom. Having an emergency fund is like having a life jacket. You never know when the storm will hit, but when it does, you're prepared. And most importantly, you avoid falling into the trap of expensive loans, which are one of the main causes of money loss and financial stress. Remember, every little helps, and every euro put aside for your emergency fund is a step towards financial security and freedom. Warning rule number 8. Beware of easy credit. Easy credit can seem tempting. You want a new appliance, furniture, or even to go on vacation, and hey presto, the credit card or consumer loan promises you can have it all immediately without waiting. But be careful. Behind this apparent ease hides a financial bomb: interests. Let's take a concrete example. You want to buy a laptop for €1,000. Rather than saving for a few months, you choose a consumer loan with an interest rate of 15% over 1 year. In the end, you won't pay back €1,000, but around €1,150, or €150 lost just because of interest. For some longer loans, the cost can easily double the initial price, especially if rates are high or monthly payments are delayed. The problem is that credit turns a thoughtful expense into an invisible drain. We don't immediately see the money going away, and our brain minimizes the impact of monthly payments. The result? We think we're buying intelligently when in reality we're wasting our money and going into unnecessary debt. The best alternative. Wait and save. It takes a little patience, but you gain two essential things: financial peace of mind and the real pleasure of owning something you've worked hard to acquire. Buying cash also means avoiding the stress of monthly payments, interest, and the constraints of debt. And in the long run, it teaches you to live within your means and value your money. Remember, credit is not bad in itself, but easy and impulsive credit is a trap. Use it only when necessary and when you can manage the repayments without putting yourself in difficulty. Otherwise, every time you choose credit instead of savings, you are giving part of your money to the banker, not to yourself. Key tip: before taking out a loan, always ask yourself, do I really need this purchase now, or can I wait and save up to have it without paying interest? The answer will often change the way you spend and save you hundreds, even thousands of euros each year. Books rule number 9. Invest in yourself. Stopping wasting money isn't just about cutting back on your spending or managing your budget better. It's also about make your potential grow. The best saving you can make is invest in yourself. Because every skill you learn, every knowledge you gain can bring you much more than any product you buy. This can be done through the formation. Take an online course, participate in a workshop, or even follow a mentor. Lecture. It's also a valuable investment. Books on finance, personal development, technical or professional skills. Even a few hours a week can transform your career or personal projects. Why is investing in yourself so powerful? Because it increases your value in the long term. Learning to code, run a business, create content, speak in public, or master a skill that is in demand in the job market allows you to generate additional income and access better opportunities. In other words, the money you spend today on your personal development can earn you a return. Tens or hundreds of times more tomorrow. Let's take a concrete example. Imagine you're learning a digital marketing skill. Initially, you might invest 200 euros in an online course. A few months later, you start using that skill for your job or business, earning 500 euros, 1,000 euros, or even more each month. This small initial investment turns into a sustainable income. Investing in yourself is also a way to prevent future losses. A competent and well-trained person will make wiser financial choices, avoid costly mistakes, and seize opportunities that others miss. It's a virtuous circle. The more you invest in your knowledge and skills, the more confidence and control you gain over your money. Remember, your brain and your skills are your most valuable assets. Treat them as an investment, not an expense. Every dollar, every hour spent developing yourself brings you closer to financial freedom and control of your future. Robot face rule number 10. Automate your finances. The final rule to stop wasting your money and finally take control of your finances is automation. It's not enough to know what you're spending or have a clear budget. You also need to make sure your money follows a plan without you having to think about it every day. The simplest method is to set up automatic transfers to your savings. For example, you can set up your account so that on the first of each month, 10% of your income goes directly into a separate savings account. The rest remains available for your planned expenses, but the money intended for savings goes on its own, without any effort or temptation to spend it. There is a very simple psychological rule behind this method: money you don't see, you don't spend. Your brain has a hard time spending what it doesn't perceive as available. By automating your savings, you protect yourself from impulses and secure your future without constantly thinking about it. This automation can extend to other areas: transfers to repay loans, automatic bill payments, or even regular investments in financial products. Every euro that goes automatically is a euro that works for you, not a euro wasted through distraction or forgetfulness. Let's take a concrete example. Imagine that you earn 1,500 euros per month. You set up your account so that 150 euros automatically goes into your savings account on the first of each month. Without even thinking about it, at the end of the year, you will have 1,800 euros saved. And if you continue this habit for several years, this small regular gesture becomes a considerable sum, capable of financing major projects or serving as an emergency fund. Automating your finances means transforming discipline into habit, and good habits into financial security. Less stress, fewer impulsive decisions, and more control over your money. With this last rule, you close the loop. You know where your money goes, you spend wisely, you save, you invest, and you leave your money work for you without extra effort. Take control of your money. So, we have traveled together the 10 essential rules to stop losing money. Always know where your money is going. Fix and clear budget. Avoid impulse purchases. Compare before you buy. Eliminate small money leaks. Buy based on value, not price. Build an emergency fund. Beware of easy credit. Invest in yourself. Automate your finances. Each of these steps brings you closer to financial freedom, security, and peace of mind. Stopping losing money is not about being stingy, it is not about depriving yourself of pleasure, it's becoming intelligent, it's about taking control of your future and your well-being, and transforming your daily habits into true allies of your success. Now it's time to take action. Start by implementing 1 or 2 rules today. Track your spending, set up an automatic transfer, or cancel that first unnecessary subscription. Every small step counts and takes you toward a future where money works for you, not the other way around. If this video helped you, like, share, and subscribe to receive even more practical advice that will make a difference in your financial life. Don't wait until tomorrow to start changing your habits. Your future self will thank you for starting today.